What is sweeter than honey? What is stronger than a lion? Samson replied, If you hadn't probed with my heifer, you wouldn't have found the answer to my riddle. Then the spirit of the Lord powerfully took control of him. He went down to the town of the Escalon, killed 30 men, took their belongings, and gave their clothing to the man who had answered his leader. But Samson was furious about what had happened, and he went back home to live with his father and mother. So his wife was given in a marriage to the man who had been Samson's best man at the wedding. Samson's vengeance on the Philistines. Later on, during the wheat harvest, Samson took a young goat as a present to his wife. He intended to sleep with her, but her father wouldn't let him in. I really thought you hated her. Her father explained, so I gave her in marriage to your best man. But look, her sister is more beautiful than she is. Marry her instead. Samson said, This time I cannot be blamed for everything I am going to do to you, Philistine. Then he went out and caught 300 foxes. He tied their tail together in pairs, and he fastened a torch to each pair of the tails. Then he lit the torches and let the foxes run through the field of the Philistines. He burned all their grains to the ground, including the grains still in parts and all that had been the bundles. He also destroyed their grapevine and olive trees. Who did this? The Philistine demanded. Samson was a reply. Because his father-in-law from Timnah gave Samson's wife to be the married to his best man. So the Philistine went and got the woman and her father and burned them to death. Because you did this, Samson vowed, I will take my revenge on you. I would stop until I am satisfied. So he attacked the Philistine with great fury and killed many of them. Then he went to live in a cave, the crown of the rock of the Etam. The Philistines retaliated by setting up a camp in the Judah and raiding the town of the Lehi. The men of the Judah asked the Philistine, Why have you attacked us? The Philistine replied, You've come to camp time, Samson. We have come to pay him back for what he did to us. So 300 men of the Judah went down to get Samson at the cave in the rock of the Etam. They said to Samson, Don't you realize the Philistines rule over us? Why are you doing to us? The Samson replied, I only pay them back for what they did to me. But the men of the Judah told him, We have come to tie you up, head you over to the Philistine. All right, Samson said, but promise that you wouldn't kill me your service. We will tie you up and hand you over to the Philistine, they replied. We won't kill you. So they tied him up with 2 new ropes and led him away from the rock. And Samson arrived at the Rehi. The Philistine came, shouting in triumph, but the Spirit of the Lord powerfully took control of Samson. He snapped the ropes on his arms as he were bound a strand of the flax, and they fell from their wrists. Then he picked up donkey's jawbone that lying on the ground and killed 1,000 Philistines with it. And Samson said, With the jawbone of the donkey, I will make a heap on a heap. With the jawbone of the donkey, I will kill 1,000 men. When he finished speaking, he threw away the jawbone, and the place was named Jawbone Hill. That Samson was very thirsty and cried out to the Lord, You have accomplished this great victory by the strength of your servant. Must I die of thirst and fall into the hands of these pagan people? So God caused water to gush out of the hollow in the ground and Rehi. Samson was revived as drank. Then he named the place the spirit of the one who cried out, and is still in Lehi to this day. Samson was Israel's judge for 20 years while the Philistines ruled the land. Samson removed Gaza's gate. One day, Samson went to the Philistine city Gaza and spent the night with prostitute.